Round 2 of PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland kicked off with the Bayside Derby. Opening round winners Moreton Bay United venturing to Cleveland Showgrounds to face Redlands United. Both sides are renowned for attacking football, but it was the Jets that drew first blood. Liam Privatiera at full stretch to gain possession, his effort rewarded, slotting home the shot and giving the Jets the early advantage. Frenchman Charles Mendy proved a threat down the left, this run setting up a cross for Jordan Farina, just too high for him to steer home the header. One goal is rarely enough against the Red Devils though, Jets proving persistent in their search for a second. A bit of pinball in the box, the ball falling favourably for Ryota Nakauka. He proved to be Johnny on the spot and it was 2-0 to the visitors. Never a side to be disheartened, the Red Devils went on the front foot. Some quick passing setting up Graham Fife at the top of the box, but he scooped his shot over the top. However, it's foolhardy to give the Red Devils player coach a second chance. His run to the near post picked out by the pass, a composed finish, and the hosts were right back in it at 2-1 at half-time. An open and attacking start to the second half saw fortune favour the Jets. Daniel Clark's shot taking a wicked deflection off the defender, catching out Brendan White, his first PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland goal, and the Jets were up 3-1. But again it was Fife playing his own tune in response for the Red Devils, this crafty run and a fierce finish bringing the score back to 3-2 and offering a hint of a comeback for the hosts. White was doing his best to keep Redlands in the game, saving this free kick from Privatiera, before producing a stunning save to deny Jackson Hall. But unlike last week, there was to be no late comeback for the Red Devils. The final score 3-2 to Moreton Bay United, goals to Privatiera, Nakauka and Clark, and a double for Fife for the hosts. Privatiera getting our nod as the man of the match. There was a big home crowd on hand at Corporate Travel Management Stadium on Friday night when Brisbane City welcomed Brisbane Strikers in the Capital City Derby. Both sides were searching for their first 3 points of the campaign. Greg Hensley setting the agenda early for Strikers, unleashing Trent Clulow. His first touch brought him past City keeper Matt Stein, however he couldn't get the finish on target under pressure from the City defence. A gilt-edged chance down the other end for City, Nick Buckley's cross finding Alistair Parsi on the burst, but his header went wide of the target. Strikers looked to catch out the hosts with this crafty quick free kick. Jason McQuarrie teeing up Luke Marsh at the top of the box, his finish wide of the target. Ryan Roderick came close to delivering City the opener just before the break, his drag back creating the space, but his deflected shot just wide of the post. City looked to wrest the initiative after the restart, Biggin slipping through Parsi, but Strikers goalkeeper Michael Turnbull quick off his line to smother the shot. McQuarrie looked to break the deadlock for Strikers, but he couldn't beat Stein at the near post, the City goalkeeper repaying his coach's faith in his first start this season. It's a rare derby that ends up 0-0 though, and this match was to prove no exception. Jaiju Young picking out Kai Smith with this delightful ball in, the young central defender with the finish, and it was 1-0 to City. But the goal only sparked a Strikers fight back, McQuarrie going close with this deflected effort. Before a mad goalmouth scramble from the ensuing corner saw Strikers level terms. Cameron Draper with the final touch, and the score now 1-1. The momentum remained with the visitors. This free kick from Chris Marr met by Hensley in the box, a looping header over the top of Stein, and it was 2-1 to Strikers. Hensley with his second goal in 2 weeks. Desperate to salvage a point, City tried to mount a comeback of their own, but it wasn't to be as Strikers held on to claim bragging rights in the Capital City Derby. 2-1 the final score as Smith, Hensley and Draper proved that central defenders can score too, Hensley getting the nod as the man of the match. Southwest Queensland Thunder were home on the range for the first time this season, welcoming Brisbane Raw Youth to Clive Berghofer Stadium in Toowoomba. Fresh off their summer campaign in the Foxtel National Youth League, young Raw started promisingly. Sam Sibichuara's pass stepped over by skipper Ben Litfin. It allowed Mitchell Hoare the chance of the finish. He made no mistake and it was 1-0 to Raw inside the quarter hour. But Thunder are a different proposition in 2015 and this was never going to be a walk in the park. Chris Hewson with a cracking attempt from the edge of the area just over the bar. Roar were trying all the tricks to break up a stubborn Thunder defence, this time falling foul of the linesman's flag. Nicholas D'Agostino tried the more direct route, but was unable to get past Michael Pike, the score remaining 1-0 to Young Roar at the break. After the restart, Thunder's Tom Fanning tried to level terms, his shot with the outside of the boot, lacking sting and dribbling wide. Young Roar were still getting into good positions though, and the Thunder defence was walking a fine line, this challenge on D'Agostino lucky not to draw a free kick. Pike was remaining busy in the Thunder goal though, holding this shot from Patrick Theodore from the edge of the area, before Sibichuara also called upon the Thunder goalkeeper. With the home crowd wondering where the reply would come from, substitute Nakota Smith stepped up for the Thunder. A brilliant finish on the burst, and it was 1-1. Young Roar didn't want to let this one slip though, and 5 minutes later were back in front. D'Agostino cutting back for Theodore, a neat finish with the outside of the boot, and it was 2-1 to the visitors with 5 minutes remaining. A late corner gave Thunder a chance though, and didn't Smith rise to the occasion. A neat header, 2-2 to Thunder, and Smith the first Thunder player to ever score a double in PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland. The Thunder defence did the rest to secure the result, 2-2 the final score, goals to Hoare and Theodore for Young Roar, a double for Smith, and Young Roar midfielder Ben Litfin getting the nod as the man of the match. PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland 2014 Premiers and Champions Palm Beach Sharks started their campaign on Saturday afternoon, hosting a grand final rematch against Olympic FC. Sharks lost many of their key players from last year, but they lost none of the impetus, the first chance coming for Daniel Gerzic from this pass from Roman Hoffman. However, the finish left a little bit to be desired. But it wasn't only the host looking a little bit rusty. The usually reliable Tim Smits failing to put in this inviting ball from Costa Saros for Olympic. Soon after, Saros tried the direct approach, beating his defender on the byline, his shot blocked at the near post by Sharks goalkeeper Ryan Meskel. There were also chances down the other end, Jared Kyle showing a bit of pace to get onto this through ball. He cut back for captain Justin McKay, but the finish was high and wide. The visitors' high line was looking inviting to Sharks, McKay playing through Florian Matic with this ball. He tried to create the space, but Matt Mundy was on hand to block the shot and spare Olympics blushes. The breakthrough came on the stroke of half-time. Sharks pushing down the right, Gerzic's ball turned back into the path of McKay, a simple finish, and it was 1-0 to the hosts at the break. McKay continued to prove dangerous after the restart, forcing a pair of saves from Olympic shot stopper Matt Acton. It looked like only a matter of time for the hosts, Kyle skewing this shot just wide on the burst. But Olympic are always a chance. A neat turn from Scott Bowe forced Meskel to punch away. The ball fell to Darren Gray, his shot blocked on the line. Another chance for Gray shortly after from a corner, the bouncing ball proving just a touch too high. There was plenty of niggle throughout the game, but it all boiled over in the final stages. This Sharks free kick leading to a penalty box fracas. The wash-up, Owen Murphy shown red for the Sharks, and the hosts down to 10 men. Olympic sought to take advantage of the extra man, stretching the Palm Beach defence with this late long ball. Mustafa Jafari cut it back to Reece Meredith at the near post. He delivered the finish, and the scores were all locked up at 1-1. The draw, the final result at Mallowa Complex, Meredith's late equaliser getting a point for Olympic, McKay opening the scoring for Sharks, and getting our acknowledgement as the man of the match. Western Pride pulled out all the stops as they welcomed fellow first round winners Northern Fury to Briggs Road Complex. Pride's Harrison Sawyer had an early sight on goal, but was unable to steer his shot past Fury goalkeeper Joe Simons. Another forward foray for the host, but this time Kitching unable to make substantial contact with his effort at the far post. Fury had their chances as well, Jake Perry shooting wide of the target with this effort, before Eisenhut found Bagley at the far post, his first time shot into the upright. But just after the half hour, it was Pride that proved more opportunistic. Joe Duckworth pouncing on this loose ball. He fed Sawyer, a delightful finish, and it was the hosts 1-0 to the good. The off-season recruit's second goal in 2 weeks for Pride. Chances late in the half for Fury to restore parity. Eisenhut's touch too heavy, allowing Bonscott to save, before Bagley blasted his shot just wide of the post. 1-0 Pride at the break. In the second half, Sawyer went in search of a second, this effort on the break trickling just wide of the post. Scott's blushes were spared in the Pride goal. He spilled this one straight to Perry. The Fury man turned it in, but the offside flag was raised and the goal was disallowed. Down the other end, Pete Drager pulled the trigger for Pride, his shot deflecting just wide of the post. It seemed like another goal could come from just about anywhere, Bagley coming very close with this effort from distance, before Perry forced a sharp reflex save from Scott. Fury were coming home with a head of steam, but Pride were holding firm. It all came down to the final play of the match. A goal-mouth scramble from the corner, the full-time whistle blown, Perry turning it in for Fury, but it was all too late. 3 points to Western Pride. 1-0 the full-time score, Harrison Sawyer doing the damage in the first half and getting our nod as the man of the match. Top of the table after the opening round, Sunshine Coast FC welcomed Cairns' FNQ Heat to Sunshine Coast Stadium in the final match of the round. There were early chances for the visitors, but the finishing left something to be desired. Alex Smith sending this one across the face before Nkwani bit off well more than he could chew from distance. A neat ball over the top from Jamie Carroll released Smith. Fire goalkeeper Dale Hill taking out the Heat attacker with a trailing leg as the last defender lucky to only see yellow. The former Hyundai A-League player got his revenge though, curling home the ensuing free kick for a 1-0 advantage to Heat. More chances for Heat as Chris O'Hare showed some fancy footwork to create space, but sent his shot wide of the target. Down the other end, Japanese visa player Kenya Takahashi was showing the moves that had him flown in for the current campaign, but just lost control at the vital moment. Last week's 2-goal hero Brady Cronk was also finding his feet, forcing a save from Heat goalkeeper Kev Ward with this shot. Heat's lead looked in jeopardy when Josh Jennison brought down Kane Frew with this clumsy challenge. But Heat goalkeeper Ward proved up to task from 12 yards to deny the penalty. The visitors made the most of the reprieve before the break, and Nkwani breaking free down the right, a delightful lobbed finish, and it was 2-0 to Heat at half-time. The host came out firing after the break as Cronk scooped his shot over the bar. No such mistake for Takumi Kinoshita though, his shot taken to deflection of Shimon Watanabe, 2-1 and the Fire were on the comeback. The chances were coming thick and fast and it seemed as if the goal could come at either end. Carroll tried a piece of magic for the visitors as he looked to restore the 2-goal margin. But in the end it was Takahashi who stepped up, controlling well from the cutback, his finish didn't disappoint and the Fire were level. One final chance for Heat as Smith's back heel unleashed O'Hare. The finish went wide, the final score 2-2. Goals to Smith and Nkwani for Heat for the second week in a row. The Japanese duo of Kinoshita and Takahashi doing the damage for Fire. Takahashi also getting the nod as the man of the match. A look at the league standings at the end of the round. Western Pride sit ahead of Moreton Bay United on goal difference atop the ladder. Sunshine Coast FC and Brisbane Strikers round out the 4, while Fury lead the challengers. Brisbane City at the foot of the table, the only team yet to record a competition point. Graham Fife from Redlands United is leading the Golden Boot race. He's followed closely by Brady Cronk from Sunshine Coast FC, Michael Eisenhut from Northern Fury, and a raft of other players on 2 goals. Our live stream for round 3 sees Olympic FC host Redlands United. Both teams without a win so far this season, it promises to be a classic. Be sure to follow us via the website, Facebook and Twitter for all the latest PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland news. This has been a production by Football Queensland for the PlayStation 4 National Premier Leagues.